Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, welcome to the investiture of the 14th President of the State University of New York at Fredonia. My name is Dr. Tracy Stenger, and it is my honor to be presiding over today's ceremony, which will begin as soon as the Fredonia Wind Ensemble has taken its place on the stage. They're here. In keeping with the dignity of the ceremony, we ask that you please turn off your cell phones and that you refrain from texting during the proceedings. As the musicians take their place, as they have, we would like to thank Dr. Ji Yun Woo, a senior lecturer of organ in our School of Music, for providing today's organ preludes. When the Wind Ensemble, under the direction of Donna Dolson, plays the processional, we ask that you please remain seated so all may have a good view of those processing. As the processional approaches across the central plaza of Rockefeller Arts Center and makes its way to the entrance of the hall, they will be welcomed, as you were this afternoon, by members of the combined intermediate and advanced African drumming groups under the direction of Dr. Tiffany Nicely. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of the national anthem performed by the Fredonia Wind Ensemble with guest soloist Patrick Connolly, a vocal performance major from Southold, New York, and a member of the class of 2023. Please remain standing until the completion of the invocation. Will be delivered by Mr. Nathan Kropp, Adjunct Lecturer in Computer Science and former Director of the Fredonia Newman Center.
Today is a day of hope. The hope of a new presidency, the hope that a new bicentennial fund will bring to those searching for light, the hope of higher education as a beacon of truth and goodness. May today be a part of a broader picture of hope as we raise our minds and hearts to the author of the hope that undergirds reality. Not a Pollyannish hope that everything will turn out just like we want, but a confidence in a transcendent good who will ultimately triumph over all that makes us less than human. This hope is a tough hope that defies expectations, a painful hope that ultimately arcs toward justice, a quiet hope that percolates in the soul. May that deep hope infuse our hearts and anchor our ceremony today.
Thank you, Mr. Kropp. Please be seated. Delegates, students, faculty, staff, it is now my pleasure to introduce the members of this afternoon's platform party. I ask them to please stand and be recognized, and please hold your applause until the entire platform is introduced. Class of 2023, Economics and Marketing Double Major, France, Sunika Charles. President of the Student Association, Eileen Thompson, Class of 2024. Members of the Fredonia College Council, the Honorable Anthony Doltz, Joseph C. Johnson, the Honorable Stephen W. Keefe, and Richard Alexander. Professor and Assistant Director of the School of Music, Barry Kilpatrick. Former Director of the Fredonia Newman Center, Nathan Kropp. Professor of Composition in the School of Music and Interim Chair, Department of Theater and Dance, Dr. Rob Deemer. Nurse Manager for Research Quality and Compliance, Analytics Reporting at Stanford Healthcare in Palo Alto, California, and Dr. Kolison's sister, Esther Kolison. St. Luke's Episcopal Church of Eden, North Carolina, the Reverend Waegar J. Bright. SUNY Fredonia's 13th President, Dr. Virginia Horvath. President and CEO of the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce, Daniel Heitzenreiter. Chair of the Fredonia College Council, the Honorable Frank Pagano. Senator, New York State Senate 57th District, George M. Borrello. President, Fredonia Alumni Association Board of Directors, Dr. Greg Gibbs, alumnus of the class of 1971. Chair, Fredonia College Foundation Board of Directors, Joseph C. Falcone. Author of The Double Bottom Line, How Compassionate Leaders Captivate Hearts and Deliver Results, Donato J. Tremuto. Trustee, State University of New York Board of Trustees, Eunice A. Lewin. And SUNY Fredonia President, Dr. Stephen F. Kolison, Jr. We will continue now with a welcoming greetings from the Honorable Frank A. Pagano, Chairman of the Fredonia College Council. Mr. Pagano was mayor of the Village of Fredonia from 1995 through 2007 and has served on the Fredonia College Council since 2009 and is the current chair of the council. Mr. Pagano.
Welcome on this beautiful afternoon. On behalf of the Fredonia College Council, as well as our community, I'd like to welcome all of you to SUNY Fredonia, one of the most beautiful campuses in the SUNY system, and today's investiture of Dr. Stephen H. Kolison, Jr. In particular, I'd like to welcome President Kolison's wife, Valeria Kolison, as well as his children, Ophelia, Stephen III, and Samuel. Please stand. Dr. Kolison has other family members here with us today, and I hope they will forgive me if I don't read their names. You see, Dr. Kolison grew up in Liberia with his parents and was the oldest child. He was one of 16 siblings. I know they are inspired by their big brother, just as Dr. Kolison was inspired by his father. You see, Stephen Sr. was a successful teacher in Liberia, but he decided later in life he wanted to advance a degree, which he achieved. That decision had a profound impact on the man sitting here today, as we know his mission to make higher education accessible to all. So Dr. Kolison, after all these years, your father will continue to have an impact, as students here at SUNY Fredonia will benefit from your leadership. I would also like to welcome members of the Board of Trustees, whose support has been critical and tremendously appreciated. I would especially like to extend my appreciation to the very professional staff and guidance offered during the search process. The search was challenging due to pandemic restrictions. Fredonia was the first SUNY institute to hire a new president primarily over video. I had a very interesting vantage point throughout the search process. As chairman of both the College Council and the search committee, I had the privilege of seeing applicants respond to a nationwide search in hopes of leading the campus. I'd like to also welcome, by the way, Donato Tremuto, our keynote speaker for today. Welcome, Donato. All the candidates had a varying amount of experience, ideas, and creative strategies, but only one possessed all the characteristics Fredonia was looking for in the next leader. The pandemic put the test of the research abilities of Dr. Kolison, established his years as a student, you see, and for the first time, he actually stepped foot on Fredonia campus several months after his presidency was announced. His background in research was just one of many qualities that Dr. Kolison stood out amongst the candidates. He had a distinguished record of serving in faculty and leadership roles. His passion for helping students achieve the dream of higher education is unmatched. He is truly somebody who cares. The pandemic might have delayed this investiture ceremony, but it has not dampened our excitement and our anticipation for the moment. On behalf of the College Council and the entire Fredonia community, we pledge our support and best wishes for successful tenure as president of this great university. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pagano. We are honored to have a member of the SUNY Board of Trustees with us today, Ms. Eunice A. Lewin of Buffalo, who has served on the board since 2010. A bilingual social worker for the Buffalo Board of Education, Ms. Lewin has made a career of advocacy in Western New York, having served on the boards of Buffalo Urban League and Independent Health, as well as serving as board commissioner of the Niagara Frontier Transit Authority. She will deliver a greeting on behalf of the trustees. Ms. Lewin.
Thank you, Dr. Sturgeon. Good afternoon. It is a beautiful, beautiful day at SUNY Fredonia, and I'm delighted to be here. Distinguished faculty, staff, students, families, elected officials, and guests. I am Eunice Lewin, a SUNY trustee and very proud SUNY alumna from the University at Buffalo. And I just want to remind you that it is only 1 hour away from Fredonia. I'm so honored to be here to send greetings from Chairman Tisch and the SUNY Board of Trustees, and to welcome you to the long-awaited inauguration of Dr. Stephen H. Kolison, Jr. as the 14th president of the State University of New York at Fredonia. Dr. Kolison, as I hope we all know by now, is not new to the role, in which we celebrate him today. He has been serving as SUNY Fredonia president since August of 2020, a year that I'm sure we will remember forever. But while this moment is overdue, I would like to point out that this means that our celebration is unique and special. I don't have to stand here and tell you about my hopes for Dr. Kolison's presidency, what he can bring to this role here, and my expectations of how his knowledge of and devotion to academic achievement and institutional governance at every level will push Fredonia forward. Instead, what I can stand here and tell you is that over the past 2 years of his presidency, he has fulfilled so many hopes, brought more to his role every day, and met our expectations with enthusiasm. His every decision is based on experience and information, and he's committed to ensuring collaboration and communication are standards among faculty and staff, all in the interest of always moving forward. I have no doubt he will expand what he has brought to the table in the future, as well as continue to confront challenges with student well-being at the very forefront of his mind. President Kolison has embraced his role at Fredonia with grace during a time of upheaval, capability during a time of uncertainty, and the belief that each and every student, regardless of where they come from, belong within these walls. His conviction that access to higher education is the cornerstone of creating and striving for a better future. A brighter, safer, more diverse, more collaborative, and more understanding future for us all. Has made his time here so far one of success, positivity, and growth. And it is a sentiment that echoes in my whole heart. I am a Cuban immigrant and a first-generation college graduate. It is a privilege that I was able to be part of the appointment of Dr. Kolison, who profoundly represents the dedication and the perseverance of immigrant families in raising leaders and learners. As a trustee of the SUNY system and chair of the Student Life Committee, I am grateful to President Kolison for his reassurance that the students at SUNY Fredonia are being encouraged every day not to give up. That they have every opportunity for success open to them, and we are here to guide them there. I have no doubt that under his exceptional leadership, SUNY Fredonia will continue to reach new heights of excellence and become an even healthier and happier campus for its striving students than it is today. Thank you to the Fredonia College Council and Presidential Search Committee for their work in securing President Kolison as Fredonia's leader, and to interim President Dennis Hefner for his service as well.
Thank you, Trustee Lewin. Representing the state of New York, George Ambarello, a New York State Senator representing District 57 since 2019. He previously served as County Executive for Chautauqua County, New York, and as a Chautauqua County Legislator. A graduate of Fredonia High School, Senator Borrello represents several counties, including Chautauqua County. Senator Borrello.
Thank you. Friends, students, faculty, and all the members of the Fredonia community, it is a genuine honor to be part of this historic day. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to bring greetings and congratulations to you, President Kolison, on behalf of the 57th Senate District. This thing always gets in the way. While this respected college may have its footprint in Chautauqua County, its success and impact stretches far beyond. It's regarded as one of the jewels of the SUNY system and boasts more than 80 majors. It has been ranked as best college by U.S. News and World Report every year since 1989. That's when I graduated from college, so that's a long time ago. We gather today knowing this outstanding university is in good hands. We have great confidence in your ability to lead this distinguished educational institution in exciting new directions. You've already confronted what I hope is the most daunting challenge of your tenure, taking on the role of president in August of 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. From day one, you faced the unprecedented task of guiding this diverse community through a public health crisis while sustaining its educational mission. You had to achieve this as a new president who did not have the luxury of getting acclimated before jumping in with both feet. That chapter of your leadership will forever be a notable event in this school's history. While there will be new challenges to tackle and fresh opportunities to seize, please know that surrounding you today are a legion of supporters who are excited about the new era you represent. We stand ready to and eager to work with you and your vision for the future of Fredonia. As someone who grew up in Fredonia and viewed this university with a combination of local pride and awe, these grounds have always felt like home to me. So while today is a milestone for the college community, it is also a pivotal occasion for the Fredonia community. Town and gown are here linked. We support each other and our fortunes are intertwined. Please know how much I've appreciated your interaction and your engagement. These are hallmarks of your leadership style, while the qualities that will move your goals and visions forward. As you work to the future and elevate this wonderful institution, know that you have me as an ally. Congratulations and heartfelt best wishes for your success. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Borrello. Our next speaker is President of the SUNY Fredonia Alumni Association, Dr. Greg Gibbs. Dr. Gibbs is a 1971 elementary education graduate and is retired chair of the Educational Leadership Graduate Degree Program at St. Bonaventure University. He also served as an administrator in both the Williamsville and Hamburg school districts. Dr. Gibbs.
Thank you. Dr. Kolison, as we mark the beginning of your service as the president of the State University of New York at Fredonia, it is my great pleasure to bring you greetings and best wishes from the more than 50,000 accomplished alumni connected to each other through this outstanding university. On behalf of the Fredonia Alumni Association, I would like to offer congratulations to you, President Stephen H. Kolison, Jr., on the occasion of your inauguration as the 14th president. During your short tenure so far as president, you have been very supportive of the Alumni Association and the programs and events in which we are involved. All Fredonia alumni take enormous pride in the university's recent accomplishments and the momentum and energy that abounds everywhere on campus. And with great expectations, we join you today, President Kolison, to begin a new chapter in our history. We appreciate your recognition of the strategic role of our loyal alumni that they may play in the task of bringing Fredonia to the next levels of achievement. We are looking forward to the prospect of working together with you to enhance the sense of alumni community and to increase the breadth of involvement and support. We appreciate your commitment to foster mutual respect and civility and to celebrate diversity in every domain of the university. We continue to wish you well and eagerly celebrate your continued success. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gibbs. To bring greetings on behalf of the Fredonia College Foundation and the community of donors, I'm pleased to welcome Joseph C. Falcone. Joseph Falcone is a 1974 graduate of SUNY Fredonia. He is the owner of Falcone Farms in Silver Creek and serves as chair of the board of directors of the Fredonia College Foundation. Mr. Falcone.
Thank you. Well, congratulations, President Kolison. It's with great excitement and pride that I stand here today at my alma mater, officially honoring you as Fredonia's 14th president on behalf of the Fredonia College Foundation and its many generous donors. The foundation was established in 1964 and has worked with alumni donors and friends to build 581 endowed funds with a total endowment value at its highest of $50,765,000. The foundation's mission is to promote, advance, and support the activities and programs of SUNY Fredonia. In doing so, the foundation administers resources and supervises the investment of philanthropic funds for the benefit of the university and its students. In short, the dollars we raise go directly towards enhancing the Fredonia experience. From providing scholarships to high-achieving students who have met merit standards or have financial challenges, to enhancing academic programming for all Fredonia students by providing classroom and laboratory equipment, international travel experiences, and esteemed campus lecturers. I'm thrilled to report that the Fredonia College Foundation recently completed its most successful and largest comprehensive campaign in Fredonia's history. The Nurturing Innovation campaign exceeded its $20 million goal before its scheduled date of completion for a total of $24.5 million in gifts and pledges. Thanks to the scores of faculty, staff, alumni, friends, and businesses who made over 52,850 gifts to the campaign, including the creation of 132 new endowed funds, which directly benefit our students through scholarships and other initiatives, thereby strengthening the educational, cultural, and real-world experience that are such an integral part of the Fredonia experience. The foundation's success has not been limited to the comprehensive campaign. In the last 6 years, total foundation assets have increased, allowing a 25% growth in university support. The foundation supports Dr. Kolison's message for enhancing student access and persistence and we are delighted to partner with him on establishing the Bicentennial Fund as Fredonia approaches its bicentennial in 2026. We will focus on his vision to celebrate 200 years of student achievement and enhance student access and persistence at Fredonia. The fund aims to increase enrollment and retention, including among financially challenged and first-generation college students who demonstrate strong potential for higher education success. For those that have already supported the Bicentennial Fund, thank you. You have extended hope for a brighter future for Fredonia students. The remarkable figures clearly demonstrate the supporters of our university, our alumni, staff, foundations, industry, and friends alike. Recognize how vital the contributions and support are to ensuring that SUNY Fredonia education remains accessible to future generations and how valuable Fredonia graduates are to today's society. Dr. Kolison, on behalf of the Foundation Board, its donors, staff, and the students who benefit from its work, we look forward to partnering with you to provide strategic, innovative solutions to benefit generations of future Fredonians. We wish you the very best as president, and we thank you for your leadership and the exciting educational opportunities you will provide our next generation of students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Falcone. SUNY Fredonia has a long history of collaboration with regional business community. Today, we're pleased to welcome representative of that community, Daniel Heitzenreiter, a graduate of SUNY Fredonia who previously served as executive assistant for 3 Chautauqua County executives and currently is the president and CEO of the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Heitzenreiter.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Dr. Kolison, trustees, council members, faculty, students, and distinguished guests. As a Fredonia graduate, I am particularly honored to join today's celebration, and on behalf of the Chautauqua County business community, officially welcome Dr. Kolison to the Fredonia community. Chautauqua County is fortunate to be home to multiple institutions of higher education and benefits in many ways from their presence and their partnership. For residents and students, Fredonia represents opportunity and promise. It provides the promise of a better life through the ability to develop skills and knowledge that will springboard your career and opportunity to become an engaged member of the local community, whether through many on-campus clubs and activities, community service opportunities that build relationships off campus. Placemaking is a planning and development strategy focused on the needs and aspirations of the people within a community. In practice, placemaking is the process of bringing people and organizations together to develop a community with the amenities which make it an attractive place to live, work, play, and do business. When looking at what makes the village of Fredonia and Chautauqua County a great place to live and raise your family, the incredible asset we have in SUNY Fredonia is clear, and for the business community, Fredonia is a critical component to our local success. The college educates our future workforce while also helping prepare the community-minded citizens of tomorrow. With this important backdrop in mind, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Kolison as Fredonia's 14th president and leader. While the COVID-19 pandemic has delayed the traditional inauguration ceremonies, Dr. Kolison has already been hard at work, and we had the pleasure to meet when he kindly agreed to be the keynote speaker for last year's Chamber of Commerce annual meeting. Upon accepting our invitation, I was very impressed by his interest in collaboration and his request to have the president of Jamestown Community College join his remarks. In fact, the highlight of our meeting last fall was the first ever college jersey presentation at a Chamber of Commerce event when Dr. Kolison presented Dr. DeMart with his very own Blue Devils jersey to proudly display as a symbol of their partnership. It is this openness and interest in working together, coupled with an impressive background, that excites me about the future of Fredonia and our opportunities to work together with Dr. Kolison going forward. On behalf of our nearly 900 members across Chautauqua County, I congratulate Dr. Kolison and the Fredonia College community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heitzenreiter. Greetings from the faculty and staff will now be delivered by Dr. Rob Deemer, Professor of Composition in the School of Music and Interim Chair of the Department of Theater and Dance. Dr. Deemer is the director and founder of the Institute for Composer Diversity and has served SUNY Fredonia as a fellow on the American Council for Education. Dr. Deemer.
Good afternoon. To our students and our alumni, to President Kolison, to our emeriti and our visiting delegates, to our friends and family and honored guests, and to my fellow members of Fredonia's incredible faculty and staff. I welcome you to this investiture ceremony for the 14th president of the State University of New York at Fredonia, Dr. Stephen Kolison. For those of you who have never been to Western New York and were perhaps wary of our reputation for snow, lots and lots of snow, I congratulate you on the timing of your visit, as it is not often visitors get to see our wonderful campus in full bloom while classes are in session. Timing is everything. As a composer, I am intimately aware of how the timing of a melody, a phrase, even a single musical note or sound can affect an audience's perception and reaction to a piece of music. And so it is in timing with so many aspects of our careers, our lives, and our society. The timing of the beginning of your presidency, Stephen, well, let's just say it was one for the ages. By all rights, we should have been here in this room 2 years ago, high on the excitement and optimism of hope and dreams of new paths forward. History and biology had other ideas. And so we now gather a full 2 years into your presidency in order to close that loop, to reconnect with the traditions that institutions such as Fredonia have so that we can demonstrate to the world and to ourselves that we intend to move forward and rekindle those dreams of new paths. Because we were all ensconced in our homes or socially distanced offices during your first 2 semesters as president, the opportunity for our campus community to interact with you was limited. But every week you reached out to us, keeping us informed and making sure we knew that while we couldn't interact in person, there was someone who was thoughtfully guiding the campus through those historic days. I remember an incident in our very first week of classes in the fall of 2020, when a serious and delicate issue emerged on campus. You not only immediately met with those who were concerned about the issue, but also communicated in detail to the entire campus community what was being done to address the issue in a way that was both sincere and reassuring. It was a lot for your first week on the job, and you handled it admirably. As we begin the first fall semester that feels more or less normal in several years, Fredonia, SUNY, and all of higher education now face a myriad of challenges that no one person could or should face on their own. Therefore, President Kolison, the timing could not be better for you and your entire administration to reinforce and amplify your collaboration with Fredonia's faculty, staff, students, and community in order to ensure the future of this important institution and the thousands of students for whom we invest our time, our talents, and our care. On behalf of all of Fredonia's faculty and staff, I congratulate you on your investiture and sincerely wish you and your family the very best today and in the years ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Deemer. SUNY Fredonia has a diverse student body of over 3,500 students from 61 counties in New York, 33 U.S. states, and 19 foreign countries. To deliver greetings on behalf of these students, I'm pleased to introduce Eileen Thompson, President of the Student Association and a member of the class of 2024. Ms. Thompson?
Thank you. Greetings, students, faculty, staff, alumni, members of the Platform Party, donors, and honorary guests, Dr. Kolison, friends and family. I'm honored to be here with all of you on this beautiful afternoon as we finally have the opportunity to celebrate our 14th president of SUNY Fredonia, Dr. Kolison. Dr. Kolison took on this role in August 2020, a critical point in our country throughout the colleges across the nation. As one can imagine, being the university president already comes with its great responsibilities and challenges, and to become university president during a pandemic would add on even more challenges, especially ones we did not imagine. Our ability to thrive as a university would depend on a few items: collaboration, communication, and student focus. Thankfully, Dr. Kolison met Fredonia with a remarkable 4 decades of experience in higher education, demonstrating his passion and his commitment to improving and increasing access to higher education. Last semester, I had the privilege to meet Dr. Kolison at the College Council before my appointment as President of Student Association. One of the first things I observed about him was his eagerness to connect with students. I'm sure that at other university, presidents are only known by their names, but I can actually say that I've had lunch with mine. Other times, I have seen him at activities night or school basketball games, and I even think I saw him standing on line at Willie's at one point. Dr. Kolison's presence on campus is reassuring that he is in community with us and that he is committed to the well-being of not only the institution, but to every single individual that makes up this very institution. Simply put, you can see that Dr. Kolison truly cares about his work through the way that he interacts with students and various members of the Fredonia community. I also observed that communication was another priority for Dr. Kolison as he took on this role. I met with Dr. Kolison during College Council, University Center, as well as our student cabinet meetings held specifically to hear the concerns of students through us student leaders. During the pandemic, he would send us many emails keeping us updated and wishing us well, and I think that shows character and his interest of our well-being during that really rough time. Dr. Kolison, thank you for everything you're doing and you could have done for us during that time. Your efforts will never go unnoticed. Now, I've read upon Dr. Kolison's journey, and if you haven't, I hope that you all take the time to do so. On a personal level, I felt that his story was really real and relatable. It was truly inspirational and applicable. What I admire most about his story is despite the challenges he's faced, that never stopped him from pursuing the great path he was destined to follow. Now, before I wrap this up, I'd like to leave you all with this quote that spoke to me, and I hope you all feel the same no matter where you are in life. Don't give up. Work hard, and one day you'll be very happy that you didn't give up, that you tried. Does that sound familiar, Dr. Kolison? It was by him. Dr. Kolison, on behalf of the student body and all the students in Fredonia, I would like to congratulate you on your inauguration. I look forward to continuing working with you, and we wish you success in this upcoming year and all the years ahead. Welcome to the Big Blue family. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. The last of our speakers to bring greetings to our new president is one of President Kolison's sisters. Esther Kolison holds a bachelor's and master's of science in nursing and is a registered nurse and serves as nurse manager for research, quality and compliance, analytics reporting at Stanford Healthcare. Ms. Kolison.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all. Members and representatives of the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York, members of the College Council, the Platform Party, delegates and special guests, faculty, staff, students, supporters, and friends of SUNY Fredonia present here today and those who are watching via the internet. I am Esther Lusu Kolison, and as we would say in the Republic of Liberia, I am the big sister of Professor Dr. Stephen H. Kolison, Jr. I work for Stanford Healthcare in Palo Alto, California as a nurse manager for research, quality, and compliance, and I am so happy to be here today. I want to thank you for the opportunity allowing me to bring greetings on behalf of the Kolison family here in the United States and in Liberia, and to my brother on this occasion of his investiture as the 14th president of the State University of New York at Fredonia. It is not lost on me that this is a historic moment. First, as far as I know, my brother is the first native of the Republic of Liberia to become president of an accredited American university. Then, my brother Dr. Kolison is the first African American to become president of this great university in almost 200 years of its remarkable history. And so I am sure that you will understand why we are so proud of him and happy to be part of this occasion. President Kolison, my dear brother, your family congratulates you and is proud of you and the many things that you have accomplished. We know that you will be a wonderful president because you care about people. You are kind, thoughtful, treat people with empathy, dignity, integrity, and grace. You are visionary. You work hard. You love students. You are a true believer in the power of higher education, and you are a determined person. You are not afraid to tackle difficult situations. You also have a great sense of humor. In you, students will find a true advocate. You have demonstrated over your illustrious career that spans more than 30 years in higher education that you are a transformational leader and a scholar. From the beginning of your professional career at Tuskegee University, to Tennessee State University, to the University of Wisconsin System Administration, and to the University of Indianapolis, you have served with distinction and gained the respect of your colleagues and friends for being a leader of significance. You took on this role as president of this university 2 years ago at the height of a global pandemic. And I say again, at the height of a global pandemic. And you work hard with all the members of this community to keep it safe and operational. You make things happen, and you do so in ways that value and include others. This is why we, your family members, believe that you will do all within your God-given abilities to take SUNY Fredonia to higher heights. President Kolison, my beloved brother, your family wishes you joy in your role and great success here at SUNY Fredonia. May God guide your decisions and actions, and may He protect you from any harm as you fulfill your responsibilities. Always be assured that you have the love and support of your family. May God bless you, and may God bless SUNY Fredonia.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kolison, and to all the speakers who brought greetings to our new president. The next segment of the ceremony will be a musical interlude performed by the Fredonia Chamber Choir. The Chamber Choir is one of 4 curricular choirs within SUNY Fredonia's nationally recognized School of Music. Comprising a student body of almost 500 and a faculty of 87, the School of Music also has 3 bands, 2 orchestras, 2 jazz ensembles, and numerous smaller ensembles, not to mention the student-run extracurricular ensembles. The Fredonia School of Music has 10 programs at the bachelor's level and 4 at the master's level. Its graduates can be found not only teaching in the schools within and beyond New York State, but also serving on the faculties of major universities and working as active performers and composers throughout the United States and Europe. The Fredonia Chamber Choir, under the direction of Dr. Vernon Huff, will now perform Cry Out and Shout by Newt Neistat. Dr. Huff? Thank you, Dr. Huff and the Fredonia Chamber Choir. SUNY Fredonia offers numerous majors and concentrations from its colleges of arts and sciences education and its schools of music and business. These majors, both graduate and undergraduate, are meant to appeal to a wide variety of students. One such student is France Sunika Charles, a double major in economics and marketing, class of 2023, who will share her thoughts about being first-generation student at Fredonia. Ms. Charles?
Greetings to all, and congratulations, Dr. Kolison. I am honored to have been selected as the student speaker for such a momentous occasion in Fredonia's history as we welcome our university's 14th president. I would like to take this opportunity to focus on the importance of higher education from my perspective as a first-generation university student, and my hopes for a very bright future for the many generations of university students to come. As a first-generation Haitian immigrant, I am the first member of my family to have received a college education, a journey in which I have faced many hardships. Growing up in a single-parent household with my father and 2 older brothers in a new environment meant that challenges were bound to be faced. My father did not speak much English, thus finding a job was always a constant battle for him. Despite this hardship, he did his very best to make sure that his 3 young children were safe, healthy, and had access to the things that they needed. As the youngest and only girl, my brothers and I had to make do with what we had. So we fought over everything. True to the life of a younger sibling, this meant lots and lots of hand-me-downs. Therefore, the idea of getting a higher education was a lesser concern for all of us, especially for my brothers who struggled with balancing their academics and personal life. On the other hand, I was a different story. Having always excelled at school from a young age, regardless of the environment, I continued to work hard to achieve my goals by working part-time jobs and undertaking entrepreneurial endeavors while maintaining a constant honor roll status and high academic grades. This soon allowed me to consider university as an option, so I decided I'd set my mind to getting a post-secondary education. Eventually, my hard work paid off. By senior year of high school, I was finally able to apply to 5 of the most affordable schools I could find, which led to my acceptance to this wonderful school. Today, I proudly stand here as a senior focused on graduating with dual degrees in economics and marketing, and as of June 8th, 2022, I have officially become a citizen of the United States, an honor. This is an honor in which I am the first member of my family to receive. My story is proof that a higher education is not as simple as a paper degree. It is for myself and many others a motivation for life and a hope for a better, brighter future. With this in mind, I hope Fredonia can continue its efforts in providing support for its first-generation university students. And as we welcome our new president, Dr. Kolison, I have no doubt that he too shares this similar understanding, having been a first-generation student himself. And I look forward to the changes he brings to this university. Ladies and gentlemen, it was an honor to have been able to deliver this speech in front of all of you. Dr. Kolison, I wish you luck, peace of mind, good health, and success at your journey in Fredonia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, France, for sharing these thoughts with us. It is a testament to our entire student body and to the kind of institution of higher learning that we strive to be. Our keynote speaker this afternoon is Dunkirk native Donato J. Tramuto, who is an American healthcare executive, global health activist, author, and former CEO of Tivity Health. Tramuto is focused on addressing the social detriments of health. He also founded the Tramuto Foundation and a nonprofit program, Health eVillages, to provide curated medical information to clinicians in remote areas. His most recent book, The Double Bottom Line: How Compassionate Leaders Captivate Hearts and Deliver Results, shares a message that all our leaders and future leaders should learn and reflect upon. We're honored to have you here with us today to share your thoughts. Mr. Tramuto?
Thank you. Distinguished faculty, trustees, students, friends and family, and Dr. Kolison, thank you for this honor to be here today. 2 years before his death, the great Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw was asked by a reporter to name a famous person to whom he missed most, a teacher, a philosopher, a writer. He paused for a moment and then responded, "The person I miss most is the person I could have become." What a very powerful response. And allow me for a moment to share a story of a tenacious young boy who became more than the person anyone had envisioned. He grew up in a family of love and compassion. Yet, as a young student, his second grade teacher and classmates considered him anything but great. The boy struggled with his language skills, particularly reading and spelling. He was ridiculed and told that he would not amount to anything and should simply stop trying. He was ordered to repeat the second grade. However, the young boy did not give up despite the pain and sense of loneliness that surrounded him. His North Star was one of perseverance and making the many difficulties work for him. And fortunately for him, his family members and others never abdicated from the conviction they held in recognizing his potential. They learned it was dyslexia that the boy needed to conquer. His father, a teacher himself, sat with him on nights and weekends to work through the challenges, putting in the time to support his young son. And many years later, as this boy endured the long journey of overcoming his adversities with courage and tenacity, he walked up to his high school graduation not just as a senior member, rather as valedictorian of his class. Graduating years later from a national university in his own country and earning along the way many prestigious degrees. Friends, today we take part in his investiture as president of this university. In the short time I have known Dr. Kolison, I have found these words from a stanza in this Kipling poem to best define who he is. And they asked me how I did it. So I gave them the scripture text. You keep your light shining a little ahead of the rest. And they copied all they could copy, but they couldn't copy my mind. And I left them striving and straining a year and a half behind. Dr. Kolison, how blessed we are today to have your intellect, your tenacity, and your foresight. Time has long taught us that adversity can make a person stronger and better. It can be instructive. It comes in all forms, collective and personal, even as an insidious virus. If you channel it, adversity and pain can drive you to do so much good in a troubled world. There is another story of another young boy, long ago, not too far from the footings where we sit and stand here today, who learned this ancient lesson at the age of 8. An ear infection robbed him of his hearing. Gone totally were the simple, happy sounds of childhood, a songbird in spring, a puppy's yap, a bumblebee at work, a mother's loving voice. For nearly a decade, the boy endured no fewer than 5 experimental surgeries. He was ridiculed and bullied. He failed 5th grade. Finally, surgery worked, and the bandages were removed. At that painful moment, the horror of not hearing anything at all morphed into the horror of hearing himself speak. He could not pronounce his R's or W's. Many believed the boy had a learning disability. As luck would have it, his sister-in-law, Rosemary, was a speech pathologist at the local university. The boy got help. He recorded his speech every single day, repeating words, practicing sounds. He taught himself to speak again. The tenacious boy found no help from college admission offices who dismissed him as disabled with low academic potential. They too did not think the boy would amount to much. But he convinced one university this was neither fair nor appropriate. Pain infused the boy with strength, and he graduated with honors despite being voted most likely not to succeed by his peers. The boy became a successful global leader. Friends, that young boy was me. And this university was the institution that taught me to speak again. Dr. Kolison, together we share a common bond of knowing firsthand the opportunities that are inherent and the struggles and challenges that are before us. It is truly an honor and privilege to be on this stage with you today. In 2016, I published my first book titled Life's Bulldozer Moments: How Adversity Can Lead to Success in Life and Business. Events like the loss of my hearing or a childhood teacher trying to destroy all hope, or a global pandemic, they can all knock you to your knees. The book proposes what to do when you get up. It also proposes that no one cares what you do until they know why you do it. Discovering your professional and personal why, your passion, as Dr. Kolison has exemplified, can and will define who you are and what you will do in your special corner of the world. It becomes, in essence, the reason for your life's work. My professional why was discovered shortly after my hearing was restored. And let me tell you how I got up for a second time after the tragic death of my brother Jerry in a car accident and the tragic death of my beautiful sister-in-law Rosemary, who was a professor at this university. She was the speech pathologist who helped me speak again. She died during the birth of her second child. The cause was a medication error, a preventable error, and for the last 4 decades that have followed, I have fought to improve the healthcare delivery system. It has become my very hard and gratifying labor. It remains my passion and my professional why still today. I created and grew startups, led a Fortune 500 company, created a foundation and an NGO. I am now active in the fight against the surprisingly large problem of loneliness and isolation among our young population and our older adults in America. And I am thrilled that here on this campus, you are incubating solutions to pressing social issues like loneliness the old-fashioned way, one student at a time. This pandemic reminded us how the social determinants that many of you are studying here at Fredonia State can affect the public's health and wellness. We have witnessed how geography, demographics, access to technology, wealth distribution, educational access, and attainment, and even politics merge to shape individual quality of life. The pandemic also revealed something starkly amiss in the cultural health of our nation's workplaces and business leadership. A lot of people quit, and what many have called the Great Resignation and the newest buzzword, quiet quitting. I believe these words are incorrect in identifying what is really going on. I call it the Great Reflection or the Great Assessment. Why? Because having a purpose in the way that Dr. Kolison and myself have had in the workplace, or having balance between life and your work, is non-negotiable. Individuals have the right to have a sense of meaning and relevancy in their life's journey. And your president has been an example of this. Allow me to remind everyone that in 1776, the Declaration of Independence created the phrase life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For whatever reason, we have failed on the happiness part. I take aim at this issue in my second book, The Double Bottom Line: How Compassionate Leaders Captivate Hearts and deliver results. It entirely rethinks old school zero-sum business leadership. It elevates all stakeholders, not just investors, and shows how compassionate and empathetic leadership can build the bottom line. It connects the dots. Simply stated, we define compassionate leadership in the example of your president. It is empathy in action. Ladies and gentlemen and students, compassion and kindness are the new currency for the new century. Now let me be very clear. By using the term compassion, I do not mean being nice at all costs or being eager to please. I do mean caring for people, creating community, collaborating, innovating, accepting differences, and optimizing them. You can practice compassion and empathy at both the professional and the personal levels. And let me be clear on another point. Merely feeling the pain of other people no longer works. The late Congressman John Lewis and my dear friend had it right when he said, when you see something wrong, you must do something. You must say something. In this regard, look no further than your school president for a leader to emulate. Dr. Kolison is taking action. He is doing something by furthering access to higher education for all people, regardless of background. He is a man of action. He is an action hero. He is a compassionate leader. I love the theme that Dr. Kolison has chosen for today's ceremony. Quote, enhancing student access and persistency at the well of knowledge, discovery, and success. I think your individual pathways to knowledge, discovery, and success have been clarified by the rigors and adversities of the pandemic. COVID-19 has been a fierce instructor and equal opportunity jailer that has affected us all. Just 2.5 years ago, who would have imagined a world that masked our smiles and outlawed hugging, handshaking, touching, and proximity to all people, save a few, in something weirdly called a pod? But as you have learned through your president's story and my own, no one escapes life's journey without some level of challenge. And you will find in these tribulations much hope when you insulate yourself with the well of persistency, compassion, and tenacity. I learned this lesson personally at the age of 8 with the loss of my hearing. And as I shared earlier, I have channeled that pain into helping people gain access to health care and advancing their rights to a more just and fair world. But during those years when I was denied the right to be heard, I entered into an intellectual curiosity that was fueled by the writings of Senator Robert F. Kennedy. He has long been a hero of mine. I admire him for his own ability to transform his life and become one of our greatest national leaders despite great personal tragedy. His work 5 decades ago helping to eradicate third world conditions and diseases in the American South fueled my long-term admiration. He awakened the nation's conscience through hearings, media, and moral outrage. He argued, if you want change, you must be passionate enough to want it. He did not start out as a civil rights leader, but he died a civil rights leader. He was transformative. He knew the right thing to do, and he knew his why. I suspect for those who know Dr. Kolison, the life of Robert Kennedy describes him as a leader who embraces not just transactional leadership, but rather lives out the highest form of leadership, which is transformative. Each and every one of you, too, can be the well for change and transformation. Some years back, reading on a flight to Europe, I found a disturbing statistic that still stays with me today, that in our lifetime, 1 billion people will go to their graves prematurely because they don't have access to a healthcare worker. 6 million are children who will die each year for absence of access to medications, clean water, and adequate nutrition. Some people have said to me, Donato, this is not our problem. I disagree. Article 25 of the Declaration of Human Rights holds that health care is a basic right for every single person. And when one person does not have access, we have violated that declaration. The world needs our transformational leadership. It expects us to show empathy and call us to action. It was for this very reason that I launched my second not-for-profit organization in 2011 called Health eVillages. It's a global nonprofit that provides medical information and decision support to caregivers via mobile devices, and the results of our efforts have been rewarding. In a small community in East Africa, Health eVillages helped reduce infant mortality from 100 babies dying per 1,000 births to fewer than 20 that die per 1,000 births today. 80 more babies per 1,000 births are now alive as a result of the action that we took. Just because you are poor does not mean you should not have the same right to health care that is enjoyed by everyone in this room today. To visit villages in Haiti, South Sudan, and in Kenya, as I have, is to be reminded that the life we live is temporal. And the greatest responsibility we have is to be the well of love, empathy, and perseverance. This is the legacy of your president. Here in the first world, as I found in my work, our challenges of mortality have their sad foundations in isolation and loneliness, and a growing sense of a lack of relevancy among our most vulnerable cohorts, the old and the aging. We live in a society experiencing an epidemic of disconnection and loneliness, and it is imposing adverse health effects where studies are now showing that if you are lonely, the toxic effects are equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes per day. You no longer have to smoke to experience the death sentence that comes with it. In the spirit of compassionate leadership and following the example of your president, each of us can do something right now to address this growing epidemic of loneliness. And we don't need to be action heroes when we take our first step. Let me advocate initially for a softer tool in the arsenal of compassionate leadership: good story health. This is what your president does. He listens to the stories of every single student. I introduced this concept a few years ago while on a Harvard leadership panel, and fortunately, it has gained traction. It is the simple process of taking the time to connect deeply to the stories of other people. Everyone has a story, and when you take the time to listen, you uncover the similarities you have with that person rather than focusing in on what might be different. Maya Angelou said it very well. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you. No doubt technology is indispensable to solving issues like loneliness and social isolation, but it can only go so far. We need human touch and compassion and unconditional respect if we are to successfully address the significant trust decay that has evolved in today's world. You can unequivocally garner one's trust by listening to understand rather than listening to react. Imagine for a second if this approach had been used by your president's second grade teacher. They would have quickly uncovered his full potential, and perhaps today would have joined him on this stage for this momentous occasion. Use the beautiful gift of hearing to learn the stories of others. And by taking this approach, you too will garner the unique opportunity to know something about that person that you may have overlooked. Friends, digital connection can make it happen. Human connection can make it authentic. All of you have a story. So does your neighbor. So does the person sweeping the floors of this campus, and so do the people you meet for the first time. I am sure before I walked on the stage today and before you heard the story of your president, you developed your own assumptions about who we were. And it is my fervent hope that by listening to our stories, you have gained a better perspective of how similar all of our lives actually are, and how the very few differences that we do have are the shades of colors that make us even more interesting. Friends, you can be the frontline champion and the well of human connection, compassion, connectivity. Start with good story health. The first question is always important. I normally avoid any conversation with a question like, what do you do? Anyone can ask that basic question. I always ask, tell me about your unique story. Mark Twain had it right when he said, the two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. You have heard in this speech today about my professional why, namely devoting my time, talent, and energy to healthcare access and healthcare innovation. However, let me tell you about another life event that helped me build on my personal why. On September 11th, 2001, I had plans to fly with my friends on United Flight 175 from Boston to Los Angeles. A simple toothache and last-minute dental appointment caused me to change my plans. Sadly, my two dear friends and their young son stuck with their plans and lost their lives when United Flight 175 hit the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Even now, I grapple with the pain and the larger question, why, my friends? Why not me? How could anybody murder a 3-year-old boy who has spent a joyous, if rambunctious, weekend at our home? Friends, for the third time, I pick myself up, mindful of a biblical epistle that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. The painful moment guided me to the great Victorian poet, Alfred Tennyson, who said, "We faintly trust the larger hope." I channeled the adversity, the foregoing bitterness and anger in favor of founding the Tremuto Porter Foundation in memory of our friends. And 21 years later, we have fed children. We have funded their schooling. We have mentored them through challenging times, and we've encouraged them to dream. We've launched a national program to address workplace bullying. We opened up maternity wards in Africa so that every mother-to-be can deliver her baby on a bed and not on a dirt floor. We have supported the refugees fleeing Ukraine for Poland. And next week, following the approval from the National Calendar Association, we will launch the first ever National Compassionate Leadership Week, which will appear every year on the national calendar during the second full week of September. And with this proclamation and platform, the foundation will work on a national scale to address issues like loneliness, food insecurity, health access, and social and fiscal inequalities. I have often said to people, life is not about doing one great thing. Rather, it is about doing little things that have the capacity to drive great change. This is best illustrated by a young 19-year-old British politician. You may never have heard of his name, William Wilberforce. He was an English politician and a leader around the mission to stop the slave trade. In 1779, Wilberforce began using his best oratory skills to lay before the British Parliament the abuses of the slave trade. His audience was skeptical, his youth a detriment, and at that time, his beliefs in the minority. But he persisted time and again. He presented irrefutable evidence of the atrocities associated with the slave trade. Wilberforce was a voice for slaves who could not speak for themselves. In the face of fierce opposition, he stayed the course. He put the evils of slavery squarely on the shoulders of Parliament. Many walked out during his presentation, but his response to those who remained and to those who were walking out with anger, quote, "You may choose to look the other way. You may choose to walk out, but you can never, ever say again that you did not know." This story illuminates the power behind one's personal and professional why and passion. You too will come across issues that are impacting our society, and you may find, just like William Wilberforce and Dr. Kolison and myself, that you may be in the minority. However, and in connecting these issues with conviction, commitment, and empathy, you too can make a difference in your corner of the world. My journey and that of Dr. Kolison is well along, but our race is not run. And we have concluded that power stems not from wealth, degrees, status, or titles. Rather, power is knowing your why. Power is visualizing a world of change, not a world of rest. Power is knowing in your hands lies the opportunity to lead with compassion, and in doing so, you will tally many victories for humanity. In closing, as the great educator Horace Mann once said, "Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity." If I can be up here today after being voted the most likely not to succeed. And Dr. Kolison can be standing before you as the president of this great university after being told by a second-grade teacher that he would not amount to anything. Imagine, my friends, the victories that you will tally. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tramuto. It is now my deep honor to once again invite to the lectern SUNY Board of Trustees, Eunice Lewin, to conduct the ceremony of installation. The SUNY system is comprised of the 64 campuses of the State University of New York, which serves nearly 1.3 million students in more than 7,500 degree, certificate, and continuing education programs throughout New York State. Trustee Lewin will be assisted by the Honorable Frank Pagano. Trustee Lewin.
Thank you. Trustees, College Council members, delegates, faculty, staff, students, alumni, distinguished guests, family, and friends. It is a great pleasure and privilege for me to be here with you today to install Stephen H. Kolison, Jr. as the 14th president of the State University of New York at Fredonia. Dr. Kolison, are you ready? The Board of Trustees and I are keenly aware of Dr. Kolison's scholarship, teaching, service, and leadership in the field of higher education and of his accomplishments. We appreciate the excellent work of the Campus Search Committee and the College Council, led by Frank Pagano, in sending Dr. Kolison's name forward and believe he's uniquely qualified to lead SUNY Fredonia in the years ahead. We believe he's the right person for the right job at the right time. Today, Dr. Kolison will receive a symbol of his authority, the Presidential Medallion and Chain of Office, which he will wear at campus commencements and other important ceremonial occasions. Its weight is a reminder of the heavy responsibilities that must be willingly carried by all who occupy such a position of leadership. The design of the medallion, a reproduction of the university seal, is a representation of the large community he serves. And the links of the chain engraved with the names of all past presidents are reminders that he is inheriting the leadership of an institution built by those who have come before. You are here, Mr. Pagano, so I will now ask the Honorable Frank Pagano to assist me as we present Dr. Kolison with this symbol of his authority and responsibility. got ahead of me, but well deserved. Dr. Stephen H. Kolison, Jr., you have been duly selected to serve as president of the State University of New York at Fredonia. By accepting the President's Medallion and chain of office, you accept the charge to serve with diligence, dedication, energy, vision, and integrity as you carry out the duties of office of president of this great institution. We are confident that under your leadership, this institution, pursuing the highest tradition of scholarship and service, will continue its dedication to the state, the nation, and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 14th president of the State University of New York at Fredonia, Dr. Stephen H. Kolison.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Fredonia. I can hear you. Hello, Fredonia. For our guests, welcome to the State University of New York at Fredonia. I don't know if you had a chance to watch a game last night. How about those Bills? Go Bills.
Go Bills.
This is Bills country. Let me begin by thanking our sign language interpreter. Thank you. You know, we live in a connected world today. The British are mourning the loss of their leader. But you know, they are not alone in mourning their leader. Because Queen Elizabeth was a leader of such great significance and influenced so many things during her lifetime. And so this is the world's loss. May her soul rest in perfect peace. There are moments in life when you wish for some things, no matter how impossible they might be. As I stand here at this moment, I wish my mother. I wish my late mother, Corporal Ken Kolison, and my father, the late Honorable Stephen H. Kolison Sr., were both here today. All I am and all that I will achieve are because I have parents who love me and inspire me. I'm so grateful for their love and their inspiration that I experienced from them. You know, one of my favorite artists, great musician, is Celine Dion. She sang a song of gratitude some time ago. If my parents were here, I would probably sing that song to them. She said in her song, "You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. You lifted me up when I couldn't reach. You gave me faith because you believe. I'm everything I am because you love me." That is a song I would sing to my parents today if they were here. I know the time has passed, and I know you want to get back on the road. So I'm going to reduce my remarks and try to get us out of here soon. I know you love that. To all the speakers here today, Trustee Eunice A. Lewin, the Board of the Board Trustees of the State University of New York, the Honorable Frank A. Pagano, Chair of the Federal College Council, Senator George Perillo, the New York State Senate, Dr. Grace Gibbs, President of the Alumni Association Board of Directors, Mr. Joseph Facon, Chair of the Board of Directors for the Federal College Foundation, Mr. Daniel Hess Renter, I hope I didn't destroy your name over there, President and CEO of the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Donato J. Tremento. Thank you so much for the keynote. Mr. Needham P. Cup, Director of Federal Newman Center, Dr. Rob Dima, Professor of Composition, Arlene Thomas, President of the Student Association, Franz Sunuke Charles, the Student Reflection Speaker, my dear sister Esther Lusu Kolison, the Reverend Wega J. Bright, Tracy Stinker, our presiding official. Thank you so much for kind words and making this day very special. Thanks for being here. I want to thank our musicians, all our musicians, for their performance, done a remarkable job. And so especially as I was walking in, I could hear the African drums. That got my attention. And for a while, I went over there and I tried to dance with the students. Of course, I was very mindful that there were no cameras. So that was beautiful. Students, I'm so thrilled that you have chosen to be here today to celebrate this long-standing tradition. Investiture ceremonies for presidents do not occur very often. As a result, many students do not experience ceremonies while they are enrolled in college. Actually, that's a good thing. That means presidents stay in their job for a little longer. And so I'm very appreciative that you are here today. To the faculty, the staff, emerita faculty, staff, alumni of this great institution, thank you for your kind support. To the College Council, members of the search committee, the search firm, Strobeck and Pimentel, thank you for recommending me for this position. To the trustees and former Chancellor Christina Johnson, thank you for offering me this tremendous opportunity. I want to acknowledge my fellow presidents who are here today, and delegates, colleagues, special guests, and friends who have traveled far and wide to make this a very special day. Thank you for being so kind to grace this ceremony with your presence. The inaugural committee co-chairs, or committee chaired by Dr. Robert Strauss and Ms. Teresa Adams, and everyone who worked hard to make this happen, I am grateful to you. You have done an excellent job within a short time and with a very small budget. Let me emphasize, small budget. Thank you so much. I think we should. And let me apologize for how I started my presentation. It may not have been presidential for me to get so overwhelmed emotionally. But if you listen to what Donato was saying, I was not supposed to be here. And that makes it so emotional for me. I hope you understand. We worked very hard to fund this ceremony without using state funds. Let me say that one more time. We worked hard to fund this ceremony without using state funds. So I'm very thankful to all our partners who contributed to this event. Some of them are here in the audience. As I was walking in, I was able to glance at a few of them. And also to many persons who contributed to the Bicentennial Fund. I want to thank the Fredonia College Foundation, as well as the Faculty and Staff Association for their support. Please join me in expressing thanks and appreciation to all our partners and supporters for their financial support for this event. I want to recognize all civic and business leaders here today. Your support to this institution is indispensable. Thank you for being here. To my cabinet and staff, thank you for your support and for being here. I am grateful to you for me to be able to depend on you for this journey. Thank you so much. I want to recognize my predecessor, Dr. Virginia S. Harvard. She served this institution as president for 7 years and as provost for 7 years. Thank you for being here, Jenny. I don't know where you are. There you are. It is nice when your predecessor can come to your inauguration. It's very nice. So thank you, Jenny. I really appreciate it. To all my friends who are here and those who are watching online, and to all my professors, there's one in the audience, and to all my teachers, including my second grade teacher, wherever he may be, who I had the opportunity to learn from, and to all the people watching this ceremony back in Liberia, especially my siblings and my relatives, also to my beloved niece in South Africa, and to everyone who is listening, thank you for this honor. I'm humbled and deeply moved emotionally by this. Thank you. Please indulge me for a few minutes to introduce some very special people in my life. I would like to introduce my beautiful wife, the First Lady of this institution, Valeria Rose Kolison. for more than 28 years, she has been there with me, whether I was swimming in calm waters or in stormy seas. My children are here. They mean so much to me. My daughter, Ophia Kopo Kolison, my son, Stephen H. Kolison III, and my son, Samuel Kotu Hiaman Kolison. Will you please stand? I have 3 sisters that are here. As Frank told you, I'm from a very large family. We are 16, believe it or not. And, but we're not all here today. And, but I have 3 of my sisters here. They're here with their families. I also have my sister-in-law is here, my wife's sister, she's here. My wife is also from a very large family. There were 13 of them. And so you just have to imagine when we all are to get together, it is like a small convention. And in this COVID area, we'll probably consider super spreader. And so all my relatives are here. Will you please stand and be recognized? My brother-in-laws and everybody. Thank you. Trustee Lewin, due to COVID, we are arriving at this investiture 2 years later. In a way, the delay may not have been a bad thing. It gave me the opportunity to learn more about my institution, and my institution to learn more about me. During this time, I've learned more about the opportunities we have and the challenges we face as higher education and as an institution. We are aware of the demographic changes. We have heard about the declining high school graduates headed to college. We've heard about the concerns about costs and the value of the college education. Those concerns keep getting louder. We are seeing challenges of attracting talent, while an increasing number of our highly talented people are choosing to retire. If you are following closely, you might say to yourself, Kolison just presented a case to question why anyone wants to be president these days. I will provide you my reasoning later. The biggest challenge we face here at Fredonia has to do with our declining enrollment. Of course, that is impacting a number of other variables that add to our challenges. I will talk about opportunities we have that I believe will address our challenges. In terms of opportunities, we have many. In fact, I would say that our opportunity far outweighs our challenges. It is based on one of these opportunities that I have set the theme of this investiture to be enhancing access to persistence to the way of learning, discovery, and success. I will speak about this theme shortly, but first, let me tell you a little bit about this great institution. This institution began in 1826 when the residents of the village of Fredonia established a form of higher education beyond what was called the common school. They called it the Fredonia Academy. Before long, the Academy distinguished itself as a regional center for teacher training. The Academy evolved in many stages in its advancement. In 1948, it became the SUNY College at Fredonia. Today, this institution is a major regional university, educating students from throughout this country and many parts of the world. We have about 18 degree programs. Among them are some of the best programs you will find anywhere in America. To cite a few examples, our music program is among the best anywhere. This is a program that produces Grammy nominees and Grammy winners. You will find graduates of our program in theater on Broadway, Graduates of our education programs can be found training young minds throughout this state and beyond. Our communications disorder program is transforming lives and including working with schools of people to improve their speech and hearing. You heard Donato's story a few minutes ago. I'm so grateful, Donato, that this institution was here when you needed that help. Our science corridor can rival any science center that you will find at any national or flagship university. In fact, just about 2 weeks ago, several of our faculty members were awarded about $335,000 by the National Science Foundation to purchase a scanning electronic microscope, thus increasing our research capacity. If you are not in a hurry, I want to invite you to tour this campus, just a short tour before you leave this afternoon. This place is outstanding, powered by dedicated faculty and staff and our outstanding student body. During the last 10 years, more than $150 million, I'll say that again, during the last 10 years, more than $150 million has been invested in this university to improve our infrastructure. During the next 5 years, another $40 million will be spent to improve our facilities. Walk around campus, you're going to see a lot of construction going on. We are grateful to the Capital Project Fund from New York State for making these things happen at Fredonia. We are a major economic anchor in this region. This is a wonderful institution that has been blessed with outstanding past leaders upon whose shoulders I stand today. Their names are inscribed on this chain that I wear. Our students are among the best that you can find anywhere. I was impressed by their resilience and their cooperative spirit during the height of the pandemic. No matter how many restrictions we threw at them, they rose to the occasion. There are many things about this place that calls for celebration. Time is limited, and so I will not be able to discuss all of these things with you. But the word I want to leave you with today is a word called relevance. Relevance. Sustaining and enhancing one's relevance, in my opinion, is the key to success in this new era. Relevance, in my view, has to do with whether what one is doing is in alignment with what society wants or needs. This fall and early into the spring, we will work on our strategic plan and our academic master plan. I cannot think of a better time than now to do this, given that we are emerging from the COVID, which disrupted everything. These plans will be about our future, the place we intend to secure for Fredonia in this rapidly changing world. As we develop this plan, there are things I believe we must consider for our relevance. But before that, I'll tell you a very short story. When I was a young lad, between the ages of 6 and 10, my parents would take us up into the hinterlands of Liberia where my father had a farm. He grew coffee, cocoa, oranges, grapefruit, and oil palm. Our trip there often coincided with harvest time. I remember my dad saying to me and my sister Esther, I don't know if you remember this story, Esther, but I remember it very well. My dad would say to us, any coffee that you pick belongs to you. You can dry it, you can set it, and you can keep the money to do whatever you want to do with it. That was beautiful. There were few houses nearby. No one in that area had pipe-borne water. It was rural, rustic. You had to collect water from a well or from a small river. But there was a school teacher in that small community who had a beautiful well. The well was surrounded by palm trees, and the water was cold, and it was clean. He was a kind man. He was a man with compassion. He was called Teacher Morris. Teacher Morris invited neighbors, including us, to draw water from his well. And so each morning and each evening, families would go to Teacher Morris's well to draw water. The well did not just provide water for drinking, cooking, bathing, or other uses. It brought people together. It connected people. Families got to know each other better and supported each other. It meant so much for the families who drew water from it each day. It added value to the quality of life for the homes that rely on that well. Teacher Morris, in my view, was a hero. He provided something that was needed and in high demand. I often think about that experience, although it was many years ago. Here at SUNY Fredonia, we have a well. Here at SUNY Fredonia, we have a well. I call it a well of learning, discovery, and success. We know what drinking from this well does for students that are able to attend. It transforms lives. I say that again. Drinking from this well transforms lives. It inspires them to become skilled, connected, creative, and responsible global citizens. They go out into the world and help change it for the better. What excites me about this place? What gets me up every morning and inspires me to come to this campus and work hard? It is the students we educate at this well. We educate students from diverse socio-economic backgrounds. About 40% of our students come from financially challenged backgrounds. 40% of our students come from financially challenged backgrounds. Then about 20% of our students are first-generation students, or students who are the first in their family to attend college. My father was a first-generation student, and I can tell you what happened. That's another speech. We don't have time. What happened when he obtained a bachelor's degree and a master's degree? What happened to our lives? 20% of our students identify as students of color. Here's the question. When 40% of your students need financial assistance in order to attend and persist at this well, is that a challenge or is that an opportunity? It's a tricky question. Think about it this way. What happens to students after successfully drinking from this well? Think about how barriers to social mobility is removed after drinking at this well. Think about it in terms of how this country can sustain its status as a super advanced country by educating more people, whether they are financially challenged or not. Given these potential impacts, then I think it can be seen as an opportunity. I think you will agree with me that we should enhance access and persistence and success at this well. So in our planning for the future, a future where our relevance is in alignment with what society needs and demands, I believe we should aspire to enhance access to and persistence at this well of learning, discovery, and success for all our students, especially students from challenged financial background and first-generation students. Last fall, we worked with the College Foundation to establish the Bicentennial Fund. The goal of this fund is to strengthen our capacity to enhance access and persistence here at the university. You heard the powerful reflection story from student France Sunika Charles a few minutes ago about what the institution has done for her. I'm proud we educate students like her. I'm proud of all our students for seeing the value in higher education. And I want to thank everyone who has already contributed to this fund. Many thanks to those of you who will be contributing soon. Here are a few more things that I think our planning for the future should include. Emphasizing wellness of students. We must do all we can to address mental health and other wellness needs of our students. Remaining true to our liberal arts heritage and interweaving it with experiences and learning opportunities demanded by students and parents. Remaining a vibrant, comprehensive university while divesting from programs that no longer hold promise for our future. Let me say that again. Remaining a vibrant, comprehensive university while divesting from programs that no longer hold promise for our future and achieving high distinction in selected areas, especially in areas of high demand. I'm looking at the provost's face. I'm sure he's wondering what am I throwing his way. Taking everything that we learned during the COVID era and expanding the boundary of this university to serve more adults and non-traditional students that are place-bound. Our recent announcement of the JCC Fredonia Board program is a step in that direction. Leveraging technology to enhance business efficiency and minimizing operational costs. Enhancing our diversity and inclusion efforts. The world is rapidly changing before our eyes. Institutions that embrace diversity and work hard for it will retain their relevance. They will be the institutions of the future. Let me also point out that it is not enough to have a more diverse student body. What is also important is to ensure equity in outcomes across all student groups. Enhancing belongingness. Every student, every faculty and staff that comes to Fredonia should feel that they belong here. Fredonia, the years to come will be more competitive in higher education. Competition for students, competition for talent, competition for resources, competition for great ideas. We don't often talk about competition in higher education, even though we do compete. But as we plan for a future where our relevance is secure, we must be more anticipatory. We must be more agile and swifter in how we go about our business. The people of this village, about 196 years ago, saw opportunities when they assembled their resources to establish the Fredonia Academy. As we approach our 200th anniversary, I see opportunities to build on the accomplishments of all our predecessors. We are a great university, an important part of a tremendous system of higher education, the SUNY system. Fredonia, if you have been questioning my judgment, why is it that anyone in their right mind will want to be president today? Let me say this to you. I have no hesitation about wanting to work with you, notwithstanding our current situation. I believe in you. I believe in the work we do here. We are transforming lives for the better. What can be more important? The opportunities we have today far outweigh our challenges. And so, Trustee Lewin, the College Council, the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York, faculty, staff, and students, I, Dr. Stephen H. Kolison, Jr., publicly accept the role enthusiastically as president, the 14th president of the State University of New York at Fredonia. So help me God. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless SUNY Fredonia.
Thank you, President Kolison, for your inspiring words and your vision for the State University of New York at Fredonia. We welcome you as our president and look forward to working with you as this university moves into a future filled with high achievement in the service of the people of New York, the nation, and the world. As a special gift from the Fredonia College Foundation Board in partnership with Dr. Rob Deemer, we would now like to welcome School of Music faculty, Dr. Nick Weiser, Coordinator of Jazz Studies, Kieran Hanlon, Assistant Professor of Double Bass, and Elliot Scazzaro, Lecturer in Saxophone and Jazz, to perform Dance, written in honor of President Kolison's inauguration. Weiser, Mr. Hanlon, and Mr. Scazzaro for your marvelous playing. Please also give a hand to the composer, Dr. Deemer. And now, would you all please rise for the singing of the Alma Mater and remain standing until the conclusion of the benediction, which will be delivered by the Reverend Weegar J. Bright of St. Luke's Episcopal Church of Eden, North Carolina, and Dr. Kolison's brother-in-law. Our sincere thanks to all who have joined us this afternoon to celebrate the beginning of a new chapter in the history of SUNY Fredonia. The recessional will now be played by the Fredonia Wind Ensemble under the direction of Donna Dolson.
Our good God, we give thanks to you for preserving for us such a glorious time to celebrate this wonderful occasion. Now may our great omnipotent Creator send us into the world with God's benediction, that we may become transformational agents in this world, that we may live in a world where peace prevails, a world where the dignity of all persons is celebrated. May this place be guided by God's wisdom, that all who seek learning here will find it an insurpassable haven of wisdom. In God's most holy name we pray. Amen.
Take two. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and remain seated for the academic recessional, which brings to a close the ceremony of investiture. You're cordially invited to attend the reception right out in the plaza. Our sincere thanks, and now the recessional will be played by the Fredonia Wind Ensemble.